Hello friends, welcome back. This is going to be our third video on Cypress tutorials, and hopefully you are having a good time learning about Cypress, and please tell me if you like it or not, because I find it a lot easier to script it compared to some other coding apps, but I tell you, you can do much more with Cypress if you get through Cypress documentation in no time. So that's my recommendation. Go for recommendation, go for documentation. But then again, there are a lot of good opportunities around, so make use of those things as well. Today I'm going to show you how to log in writing a function. So let's just do that. You notice other than my tests, I also added another package or folder, whatever you call, and that's I call it utils. Let's add a new file, and I'm going to log in to Amazon because I had a dummy account I made early on. We can use that one, and let's name it Amazon.js. Okay, we're gonna write a method so we can embed it inside the class Amazon, and then if you know, I sometimes forget it. Let's not forget. We gotta do the export so our app can understand the class Amazon. Alright, so we're gonna default, I'm gonna say Amazon, and now it's happy. Now inside here, and let's name our method as login or function, and we don't need a parameter because I'm going to add a global user. What do you guys think? We can always later on we're gonna plug it into, I don't know, maybe add another text file or something, or a JSON file, and then store the password there. We can do those, right? So for example, let's add a user, and my user is, actually let me just copy it. And we don't need to do that. These Java people, right? Okay, and then my password is, let's say PW. And like I told you, we don't need to store user and password like this, but I'm just showing you we can do it. And let's add a body right here. And we have Brox. 123 is our password. So you can use this one, but don't purchase anything, alright? But you have to add your credit card if you want to purchase something, because there is no credentials there. But anyway, it's my dummy account. I'm okay if you use it to test your skills, but I'm not okay if you're gonna misuse it. Just so you know. And I'm not responsible for whatever you come across. Now, here is what we are doing. So this one will visit the website. Again, do you see this crypto? How did we fix this? Do you remember? Check our previous video. If you remember, we added / and said, oh, we added a less than sign, and we said reference type, right? And we also said it's going to be Cypress. So it understands we're dealing with Cypress code. And let's see what's going on. So maybe we can go to my video and let's see what's happening. Cypress 2. Let's see that one, Cypress 2. Okay, let's see, reference types. What did I put? I just say type, right? So we're just going to add S. And then let's look at the video again. What do you guys see that I don't see? Types equal Cypress. And that's it. And this R is lowercase. And that's just so funny. And what about this one? CY press. Okay. Doesn't even understand what Cypress is. And this one, for one reason, because let's rename our file and see what's going on. Look, Amazon dot spec dot js. And let's take a look at this one. Oh, now that also makes me think, is something happened to Cypress? So just to go around it, you can do first check is npm install. Alright, now you see we're clear on that one. And next one, you're gonna say Cypress install. Let's see, npm Cypress install. Let's see what it says. Okay, it didn't like it. Let's find the code. Where did we do what we did? That was the first video, right? Or we can just look at the documentation. Cypress install Node.js. Okay. We already did this in the first video. Oops, we gotta add a parameter, so it's gonna add it inside dev module, and let's do that. And if you notice, Cypress was removed from my system because I have another user profile that's dealing with Cypress. So whenever I use that, it is causing some problems. So using two different profiles is not such a good idea. So we install Cypress. If you see something is not working or something is wrong, what is the first one? You check your dependencies if you're missing anything. What's the second one? Install Cypress with this command. Alright, now you can see our reference type is happy because now Cypress is loaded. Now we can, if you remember, if you open package.json, right here we have Cypress command, so we can just run our terminal, run Cypress. And it's gonna say this is your first time running or something like that because I worked on my other computer, other user profile, so it's gonna take time. And while it's opening, let's go back to login, and then we're gonna do some easy peasy steps. First, let's put some nodes. First one we're gonna do, click sign in button. Alright, so we're gonna sign in first. Next, we're gonna enter or type. By the way, our terminal opened. You can see right here. Just gonna let it go behind. Type user email or username, whatever. And then, is there something we have to do? Let's try it first. Let's go to Amazon. Like when you go, we went to Amazon, and then we can click the sign in right here. But last time, how did we do? If you remember, we found sign in securely. Where was it? Oh wow, we can use this one as well. We can click here. That also takes it to enter. Or this button is also becomes visible, but guarantee that's gonna work best. So we can find hello, sign in. We're gonna search that, then click. All right. So hello, sign in. Let's just inspect it. Is that this one? Sign in. Does it have a text? There you go. So I just want to take this text. All right. And plug it in right here. Oh, that one. My bad. So this one, we're going to search for this text. Then click to. That's it. And next, enter username. And then click continue. And then enter or type password. And then just the usual stuff. Like if something happens between, we can add a wait. cy.wait, which is pretty straightforward. And then we're gonna click login. Alright. Now, if sometimes Amazon will send OTC, like some numbers to verify your login. So in those cases, we have to have a user intervention. Hopefully that doesn't happen when we run the test, but we'll see. If we're lucky enough, we're not going to have that trouble. Now let's start with the first one. First, I'm just going to do everything in this one, but you can break down these things into different functions. Visit Amazon. Let's say, what is Amazon.com? And we're going to say cy.visit. We can just copy this one right here. Okay, first one is done. Next, click sign in button. This is super easy. What are we saying? First, you can use get and then add a locator right here. All right. So that's option one, but you can do that. I'm just going to show you this way because in the second video we learned finding this text, and then you can click to. That's it. And if that, say, if this doesn't work, let's do the other one. So you can say cy dot get. I'm going to comment this out. Next. And then we're going to add our locator. So let's grab our locator. What is it? So again, wide open. Now we just need this sign in, right? So it has an ID. It's pretty long. That's all right. All we have to do is just copy it, and let's try it here first. So since it's ID, let's put hashtag, and it finds it. But let's do CSS. So you're going to open it and type ID. You're going to say equals ID, and optionally you can put it inside single or double quote, and then close. And then what if there is another one? It's one of one, so we're good. But you can also look at the class, and you can also add it, another one, and say class equals, and let's copy this one. And then close it with single quote, and then close it. And now it's kind of pretty long, but you know, now I make sure we're gonna get this one. All right, so let's just cut this. Hopefully it's not confusing. Oh, because we're using, let me go back. Because in the CSS we're using single quote, we're gonna use double quote here. Okay, don't forget that. Now these guys are happy because we don't have to use escape character then. Well, if you're fond of using escape character, do. And then we found it, right? And then optionally we can also do a timeout. So say if page is loading. So let me add a curly brace, and you're gonna say timeout, and then we can add, let's say 1 second, right? So you're gonna say 1000. And after this, we can say, okay, type this for me. What am I typing? So I'm just going to say this dot user. All right? Now, this user will be typed. Oh, that's what I'm expecting. So we're going to comment this out. So, you know, this one is not going to run. And if this doesn't work, we're going to try the second way. Oh, wait. This is... Oh, my bad. What am I just telling and where am I putting it? And you guys are going to be like, what? This is actually the thing for typing username, because we typed this user, right? And you're going to be like, what is this guy doing? So this is just a click, but let me show you again. My bad. Okay, now we're going to say dot get, and then take this locator because this isn't right. Take this locator. And then let me add this one right here. This one is good enough. Now we find the hello sign in by locator. Now, you don't have to use this long. You can just take this part out, or use just this part, or use this other part, like this one. Your choice. And then you can do just click. All right. Now, let's comment this one. And now, you understand how we're using timeout. You can also use timeout here in this one after right here. So you're going to add your timeout inside this curly brace. You don't have to if you don't have any trouble. Now let's find the username box. So let's click to it, and then we're going to inspect this one. It's just type email, right? So we can do this. You can say type equals email. And it's already found it. But if you want to get another one, let's say it's also a name email. So you can do that. Like, let's say name equals email. It's just the same name they did, but that's good. Now let's take this one and plug in right here. Now, why we have timeout here? So I'm just giving it time to type it. Let's see. It's usually okay to type it in good times, but we'll see. You can increase this number or decrease it, it's up to you. And now, when we type in, let's type in our username and click continue. Now this is the next thing we're going to do. Click continue, right? So it has an ID continue, so we can change this type to ID, and here we're just going to say continue. Let's get rid of the other one. And it has also a very long class, but let's use only a small piece of it. It has a class, and it's a button class, but I'm just going to use the last one, a button primary. So like this one. Let's copy that and paste it here. Now if you look at it inside this span, so this isn't working. So there's a reason why this isn't working. So let's try this first. What if I have just a button? Did I do it right? Nope. Okay, so why this isn't working? A question we're going to answer in the next video, because you need to sharpen your CSS skills going forward. If we depend on that was my mistake long ago. I relied upon those apps that help you find the locators for you, and now when I'm left alone, when I'm using my office computer, I cannot use any of those. I'm like, what? And which is why let's just use ID continue, but there's two of them. So how do we do that? All right, look. So why do I get this one? This one is also same here, right? So which also tells me why there is a confusion right here with the a button primary. So can we focus on right here? We have a type submit, right? So we can say, so this is the simple approach, all right? The simplest you can get. And we're going to say submit. Now we have 1 of 1. So that's good enough. So let's take this one. Hopefully you are not confused. If you are, ask questions, or let's go sharpen our CSS locator skills or CSS selector skills. So we're going to say cy dot get, and right here we're going to say just click because we need to move on to our next step. We're going to enter password. So what do we do here? cy dot get, and then type this dot pw. What is it? That's my password right here at line 5. And we're almost finished with this method. And let's find the locator for after continue. We're going to type in, let's inspect this one. So it's a type. Actually, let's type here. Type password. That's one. And does it have an ID? Yep. It's app password. So we can put app password. And now you can see it's working. So hopefully, I'll use different types of CSS selectors in following videos so you can practice and sharpen your skills. But on this one, I'm just going by with simple approach. You see all of the selectors are similar, same type. I just wanted to make sure I added 2 different attributes for all of them. Now, the last step is login. Whether it works or not, let's try. If you get a user intervention, let's do it with the manual one so it doesn't ask us. I'm just going to say keep me sign in. Now, do you see this one? So I'm just going to open my email and approve it first. I'm just doing it on my phone. Okay, I got this one and I'm gonna approve it. All right, now it's approved. Now, what I'm expecting, now let's try again. Because I approved it, so let's add the password and click sign in. Now it doesn't ask the OTC or approval. So this is why I did the manual login. So it doesn't ask, hopefully. So now, did we take this one? Yeah, we did it. Okay, we're just gonna click login. So let's just do that. CY dot. What? Login. So we're gonna say get. It's a button, and then we're just gonna click. That's it. So what is it for the button? Oh, yeah. Oops, what is this? Let me get the password again. Wasn't this long? Keep me sign in. Oops. So this button we have to get. Okay, it has an ID sign in submit and type submit. So what's an ID? So let's change this one. And then type is submit. You can see what I'm doing. 1 of 1 right here. And what are we doing here? Finishing the login. And let's recap. What did we do here in the login? This cy.visit. What did we do here? Finding the sign in button. And using contains, you just find the text, then click to it. And if you use the get, you find the locator, then click, and next enter the username using get again. And we added a timeout, so I showed you this one you can use after, it's the second parameter of the get you can use right after this one. So you add a comma and then add a curly brace and then write your timeout, whatever, let's say half a second. Alright, so you can add your timeout like that. Since this is just a click continue, I don't need to do that. And enter the password with the get again. Get the password field, then type this. And then get the login button and then click. That's it. So how are we gonna use this now? So we already exported, remember, so we are able to use the constructor of Amazon class. So close the utils, we don't need to see it. Now inside my test, let's say test 103. spec.js. Let's also say login after 103. Login spec. Alright. Now, if you remember, we have to, in order to use our Amazon, so let's just do it, then I'll add a describe, and then so you can see what I'm talking about. So in describe, let's say login attempt, because it's unsure because of the OTC. Amazon login. And then let's add our arrow function. Inside the test case, let's say trial 1. Use correct credentials. And then we can use incorrect credentials on the next one, because it was my plan to show you the negative case, but I think I didn't show you in the previous video, and we can do it here. Now this is the first test, and we can do another test with it like that, or we don't need to do this, we can add another case right here. So this is going to be second test case. So this is going to be named trial 2, use incorrect credentials. Alright, now before I use this, so let's push this down. I just need one time visit, but I already handled visit in my Amazon spec, right? I already visit. When you say login, it's gonna take care of everything. So we can add it before here and see why that visit. We can do it here if you're running different environments. So you just need to comment this out, all right? And since this is just one of a kind now, so I'm not doing it, but you have a way to do before. Just look at the previous video, and then you can see how we used to see why that visit with the before. Now, what we're gonna say in our first test, so we can get rid of this now. In our first test, Or here, let's add a const and say, what should we name this one? Let's say user. And you can name it whatever you want to say. I'm just going to say user.login, right? So hopefully it makes sense. User login now. We can name it differently. And we're going to use new keyword to reach out to Amazon. Now, doing this, let's run it and then see the mistake. And then we're going to come back to fix it. All right. So let's say user.login. And this test case is empty. So let's just say log it out. Oops. What am I doing? And let's say again. And then we're gonna add a parameter so we can use the login with a parameter. All right. So for example, you can add a username and password here. Now let's open CY dashboard. Here, let's click to test 103 and find our mistakes. Revisiting the page. We close this one. They say it runs faster. Now, login attempt was successful. I don't know if you noticed. Rewind 5 seconds to see it. Now here, we're just finding the sign in, which is now highlighting right here. And then do click. And you're gonna wonder, what is this wait for animations? I set it to false. I'll explain it to you in the next video. So you can use Cypress configuration. So look up Cypress configurations in the docs. And that's actually a powerful tool to use. It's already done for. So all you have to do is set it to true or false. So I don't want to wait for animations to load. So I set it to false. Now here, get email field, type email, which again you see no animation, so that's good. And then get continue and click. And then get password, then type password, and then click sign in. And that's it. And this was the first test. Successful. Remember, most probably why it didn't ask for OTC or approval email, because I approved it in the first manual try, and then on the second one it knows this is the same computer, most probably. For whatever reason that worked. And this was just console.log, and you don't have to worry about this on-code exception because we didn't do anything here. So now let's go back and see. I said to you we're gonna have a problem, right? Actually, it was already imported. Do you see this one at line 1? I was expecting to see an error, so I can show you. Oh, we forgot to import Amazon from utils and then Amazon spec. So where is it? It's this one, right? So don't forget that. If it doesn't import automatically, you gotta import it. So how are you writing it? So for example, let's try to do it again. Import. So you have to write the name of the class. And then you're gonna say from. And here, if you're using dot slash, you're inside the same area, which is, where am I now? Inside my tests. So you can only access the things in here. But if you add one more dot, so you back up, so now you can see examples. Or if you write you can also go to utils, because you know it's there. And then if you do slash, it already tells you it's there. So it's easy to do. We can get rid of that one. And we can stop Cypress, because there is a way we can tell Cypress, hey, you don't have to keep doing what you're doing, because at every change, it's running the test with a simple change, like you add a line or you add an extra space, it's testing it again. All right, so I close it by Control C and then typing yes. Or you can just close the test window. Whenever you close it, you're all set. Now let's take a look at trial 2. And actually this went over my time limit. I wasn't expecting this is going to be this long because of the errors and mistakes I had in the first minutes. I'm sorry about that. I'll show you this one in the next video, all right? Doing a negative case is a lot easier. So we're just going to add a parameter here. So log in with this one. We can add another, let's say, let's do username and say we have, and then let's add another one, password, and let's say some PW, some password, and then what we're gonna say instead of this one, we can close that one and then paste. So we're gonna plug in username and then password. All right, so we don't have this login with username and password, so we'll just make it in the next video. Or if you know how to do it, go ahead and try it. It's gonna be easy peasy. If you have questions, please do ask, but hopefully you got the idea how to log in, writing this login method. And once you did your steps, we export the Amazon, don't forget that. You export it, and then you have to create your object, user object, so you can access Amazon login, which is user now login. You can change the name from login to something else. It's up to you. All right. Thanks for watching. Until next time. It's always a pleasure working with you, just so you know that. All right. Thanks again. Bye, everybody.